Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. As you know, this is the last session of the workshop, Overcoming Self-Limiting Beliefs, Reaching Your True Potential. So we have had 4 talks before, and this is the final talk. And in the last one, we learned how to make new beliefs to replace those limiting beliefs that are holding us down spiritually. So we are going to cover the last 2 steps this session so that you can actually operate with the new belief system. Okay, so I wanted to say that I speak in English, but that it should not stop you answering in Urdu or, it's just fine. I do it because we have people from different countries on the session or listening to our videos and doing the exercises. So I try and stay in English, but that doesn't mean that you have to stick to that. If you're more comfortable speaking in Urdu, please do so. Is that all right? Okay. So it would be nice if you acknowledge me. Sister Fana does a good job of acknowledging me, so then I can move on. So please do stick with me on making me feel that you're with me through the process. Yeah. So here we go. We last time did establish that that we need to have the Deen of Islam as a foundation for everything. You agree with that? Yes? Do you agree with that? Okay. So can somebody also voice something? Thank you, Sister.
Yes, sure. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. This makes me feel I have an audience there. Okay. So you have to become aware of the world you live in. Does everyone agree with that? We haven't been aware of it, and it's gone to a crisis situation at this time. So we established in our last talk that we need to have the Deen of Islam as a foundation for every sphere of life. It's just not restricted to namaz and Ramzan and everything. It applies to every single thing in life. So you have to ask yourself, does the culture show the adherence to Deen of Islam? You have to always keep asking yourself. You see something, you ask yourself, does it show adherence to the Deen of Islam or not? Do you agree that that needs to be done? Yeah. Otherwise, we fall into the trap of just accepting what is in the religion, right? So we established last time that the religion used to be in power, and because the morality standards dropped or they had differences of opinion, they didn't rule very well, and they forgot about the actual reason for having a religion is to put Allah Ta'ala's laws everywhere. And if they started doing something else and had disagreements with each other, we had a lot of sects forming, and they lost the power to run the country. Otherwise, they were a very influential group who could make sure that Allah Ta'ala's laws were applied. So the state was formed, and secularism was formed, and we define secularism. There's no religion in that. It's neutral about everything. And you have to ask yourselves, in every sphere of life, in the absence of Deen of Islam, who is ruling? Yeah. So you have to ask that question from yourself. So you to go to the doctor, and different things are being given to you. Is the Deen of Islam applying? You got to ask these questions from yourself. You go into an educational institution, whether it's a university or school or anything, is the Deen of Islam being applied? Right? So because we've been so much brainwashed and we've accepted the colonial power, we have accepted secularism. We are programmed that way. So you have the responsibility, you and I have the responsibility of deprogramming ourselves. All right. So we said that we had to get used to the idea of undoing the brainwashing we've gone through, right? And we have to ask ourselves, can true purpose of life exist without Deen being the foundation of everything? Yeah, that's a question we need to be asking ourselves, because we've accepted secularism and all the systems in life that do not have the Deen of Islam as a foundation, even in Muslim countries. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So over here, when you have all these posts operating, the lawyer, the politician, engineer, are you going to ask, is this post meeting its true purpose? I see that people go to the doctor and they just treat him like a god, like he knows everything, he's going to fix everything. So we need to be asking this thing, is the field of medicine actually based on its true purpose or not? Yeah, we've got to be seeing that. Is the knowledge that they have, this next question you have to ask yourself, is the knowledge used for the right purpose? So you've got nuclear power. Is it being used for the right purpose? You should be asking that. Could save us a lot in terms of the power shortage we have on electricity and other areas to make life better for people. But instead, a lot of it is used for war, to create wars and fight between countries. Yeah. And even if you look at drones are very, very useful technology. It should be used to locate things, to see if there are floods or earthquakes, locate people, and to find out what is different kind of life forms, what's happening to them because of the climate change. But instead, it's used for spying on countries or spying on people and using that technology to locate them and even kill them off, right? So social media, again, could be used for, is it being used for the right purpose or not? So this is something that we should be questioning. All the time we need to be questioning. And we need to be informing our children and our family members and our loved ones about the true purpose of these, so that they can also become alert to what are the consequences and not totally put trust in these areas, because our children trust in these areas. They think it's right. So is the right knowledge being taught? Most of your kids are in university or schools, or is useful knowledge missing? You need to be questioning that. And you need to be getting the children used to be questioning that and not to accept. A lot of things, when I'm teaching in Pakistan, is that whatever the teacher says is right. Whatever. The parent is in that frame of mind. So from what we have learned through the four talks we've had, we know in a secular system, the Deen is not the foundation of everything. So we all have to train our family members, our loved ones, so they actually check that. Does it make sense?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we were talking about secularism and how it in itself is becoming a Deen. It's a system that we are following. So ask yourself, am I accepting secularism? Yeah, you need to be asking that when you come across different things, and we say that, oh, secularism has got Human Rights Day, things that appeal to us, Children's Day, Anti-Discrimination Day, all these things are there, Women's Day, and we think, oh yeah, it goes along with Islam, it goes along with Islam. But we talked about this thing, how the standard of secularism is not high, it's very low. And the standard given to us in Islam is very, very high. And if we stop seeing that high standard of everything, even in terms of character, your and my character, it's the secularism accepts a very low character is fine. So you have to say, am I accepting secularism? And you know that secularism does not have high standards. And ask yourself, is there a supreme source behind this? Or are gods inventing all this thing? At the moment, the laws are being invented by people based on what they think is right. Yeah. So even if you look at the LGBTQ things and the privacy and everything, it is all made by people. So be wary of that and put Allah Ta'ala's laws way above and make your children and your family members respect that and judge secularism. Check it out, whether it's right or not. So we talked about this as the way of life that Allah Ta'ala has given us, that our whole minute and second should be, surely my prayer and my sacrifice and my life and my death are all for Allah. And we are all aiming towards that kind of purity in our lives. So ask, is this ayat being applied in my and others' decisions making? So if a decision making, a law is being formed, or your school is doing something, ask that is this ayat being done for what purpose? If weapons are being made, what are they being made for? If this pharmaceutical company is selling this drug now, or is selling antidepressants, then what is the ayat being applied? Why are they doing it? What's the purpose behind it? Is it the welfare of people? Or is it something materialistic, right? So this falls under our responsibility to do that. So we talked about distorted freedoms. Distorted freedoms. Everybody says, oh, secularism, we got a lot of freedom, we can do so much. But are we gaining or losing when everybody's into it themselves? There's self-interest there, and it's at the cost of honor, virtue, justice, fairness, equality, and integrity. Isn't it? Do you agree with that? That's how it appears to be when you have a secular society and everybody can do what they want. Then it does become about me culture. How can I get the most out of this? How can I benefit? So what should be our approach? If you and I see something wrong, what do we do? What has been our way of doing? How we approached it? Anybody say, you see something wrong. You see some kid being slapped in the school or being, talked down to, or you see a neighbor hitting their kids all the time. What do we do? What has been accepted as normal?
Anybody can please share. It's not really hard question. It's really related.
Yeah, we usually do. It's not my business.
That's right. It's not my business. And that is secularism. But it is our business, isn't it? It is our responsibility. So first you have to, if you get told something, oh, this teacher did this thing, or your neighbor does this, then first verify it. Don't just accept that thing. We have to verify if it's true or not true. You need to do your investigation, and then you need to inform that person. If I do something wrong and Sister Shazia sees that I've done something wrong, Sister Shazia should tell me, you've done this wrong. It would have been better this way. Politely, lovingly, but one needs to be responsible and say that to inform that person, right? So investigate, inform, and then if it doesn't work, you go higher. You report it to the higher person. if you're in a school or in a medical profession or in a lawyer thing. You don't just sit back and let it be. This is why the world is the way it is, because we all sat back, right? So investigate, inform, report, follow up. Once you've even done the reporting, what happened on that report? What happened on that report? Is there any progress on it? Take it higher and wider, and you can go wider. If Sister Shazia says to me, you shouldn't have done that to that student, it wasn't okay, it could have been better handled that way. And I continue to do it. And she follows up with me and says, are you still doing it? And it's not really fair, and I still keep doing it. So she needs to take it wider and higher. If there's someone above me or a quality control person, she can go there. She can also start telling the colleagues that I disapprove of this. But first, her duty is to inform me, because it might just take, oh yeah, I made a mistake, I won't do it again, right? So there is a pathway to follow, and do not stop till it is known. I'm not saying you have to fix it. I'm not saying that. But you have to be responsible for the proper authorities to know that it is not correct, right? Be responsible, and you can say to Allah Ta'ala, I did my best. I took it to where I should have. And this affects children so drastically because we stay quiet. We just said in the neighborhood, if father's hitting and kicking a wife or a kid, and I say, I'm minding my own business, I'm not going to do anything, you can see, what will I say to Allah Ta'ala? I was aware of it and I didn't do it, right? So some kind of thing we need to change in ourselves, so we're a bit more responsible and do more and make it our business. Yeah, do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And this is why the world is like that, because slowly and gradually we have just, step back and, thinking this not my business. And this has become norm. Now we think it is, and doing against it, we feel like, like strange.
Yeah. It's just not even acceptable anymore to do something,
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, secularism has kind of said, mind your own business is acceptable. So, so we are now looking at opening the door. We looked at this whole program of ours of how do we open the door to self-reflection. Yeah. So at the bottom of it is purity. Allah Ta'ala, from the ayat we know, the fitrah is very pure, beautiful, has a lot of potential. And, I was looking this up on something on the internet, and I found a lot of groups that are working against the belief of purity. Can you believe that? They are going against the belief of purity because they feel bad when they do something wrong, and then they are saying, well, who defines purity? Who defines purity? That religious thing is out of the door. This is okay. This is acceptable. So our children are exposed to this. It is getting very common. Even within Muslim countries, it's very common. Making this pure, and when it's impure, you say it's pure. It's okay. Everybody does it. It's pure. So I think it starts with us, goes on to our family. We need to make them stronger, more able to see what is right and wrong. And we talked about these steps of how to do self-reflection. I won't repeat them. And we're taking the example of arrogance that needed to be applied to the steps A to E to learn the procedure of how do you handle the self-limiting belief and go forward. So we've done steps A, B, and C. So you could easily do a belief system of culture is right. Yeah, if we have culture is right, culture defines success, culture is the way, secularism is the way forward. It has gone on and on. In each one of us, we've had it. So you have to undo that belief system too, in order to gain back the laws of Allah Ta'ala and the laws of that are written in the Quran of the character. I mean, Quran is such a beautiful book of character. Islam is all about character. So inshallah, each one of us working together, we can purify that fitrah. We went on to answering the 6 questions in order to gain more about the arrogance as to why we were arrogant and feel that emotion and flow it. That was our step B. And part of B was also then using that to identify our beliefs and also to see if they were true, made by the true self or the false self, and then whether they applied to the Quran or not. This was our old belief system. And last time, we took this forward again, and using that, we came to step C and created our own belief system based on Al-Quran. Yeah? So anybody who doesn't understand these steps can go back to the previous talks and go over them and learn them, inshallah. So we are just doing 2 steps this time, which is D and E. Right? D is cancel the previous belief system. Tell the mind loudly that the belief system is cancelled. So why is cancellation important? Why is cancellation important? We could just say, oh, I made the belief system in C, and now it's okay. I have a new belief system. Well, you have probably told yourself, or I've told myself something, like if I say, I'm not a good public speaker, I could say, I've told myself thousands of times that if you say, I'm not a good mother, you've probably told yourself that. And it's embedded in your thought system. And your mind has that belief so many times reinforced. Right? So if you just say, I'm not going to do that again, it doesn't work, does it? If you say, if you're rude to somebody, if you're arrogant to somebody, you say, I won't be arrogant again, but then you're arrogant again. We had that as a question. Why do I keep repeating those things? And that's because we haven't gone through the belief system of canceling it and actually rising towards getting it out of your system. So it's like having an old software still there, and you're trying to put a new system in there, but it's got its old software and you've got to get rid of it, right? The mind is sort of all there with the emotions, with the thinking, with the actions, all there. And it's its religion. Your old belief system is your mind's religion. So you have to declare it loudly and clearly, and you have to feel the emotion and the reasoning that you are canceling this. So I would say, I cancel, I should be admired by people. I no longer believe in this. You're telling your mind this. I no longer believe in people must approve of me. Right? You say people must give me importance and superiority. This is no longer my belief. So the mind has got all these beliefs that it thinks are survival for you because you made them at some point and you thought that they were very good to have around. So you go through this process with each of the beliefs. Yeah, each belief of this from 1 to every sentence needs to be said, I'm canceling it. It's not right for me. It's impure, and give it the reason as well if you want to, so that you can feel that it's not correct. You will not survive if you do this, right? And if you're doing it, Allah Ta'ala guides us towards self-improvement and spiritual growth. This is time and again said in the Quran. So if you're doing it, Allah Ta'ala will also help you take away that impurity from your system, inshallah. So then we go on to our next step, which is how to operate with a new system, which is step E. Operate now with a new system, tell the mind your new belief system. So what would happen if I just, if I didn't give it anything? There would be a vacuum. There would be a vacuum, right? And when there's a vacuum, the mind goes back and compares and says, oh, what happened last time? What happened last time? And it will find all your old belief systems. So you have to say, I'm replacing this belief system with da-da-da, whatever you come up with, right? So you do that also. Make sure that you're declaring it loudly, clearly, feeling it, where reasoning is involved. My new belief system is da da da. From now on, I do not worship people, nor do I want them to worship me. Right? That's my belief system. I will not worship people, and I will not expect people to worship me. So you go through each of these lines, repeating that and taking that forward into your new spiritual growth system, and your mind will say, okay, this is the new belief system I have to operate. It might switch back, and some of the cancellation might not have occurred, but then you reinforce this one. So consistency and patience is your key here, and Allah's guidance. Ask Allah to guide you towards the right path. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So there's this question that we had on there. I apologize and then do it again and again. I say sorry. Why does this happen? So can anyone answer that? Why does this happen? I know I did wrong, but I simply cannot change my behavior, emotions, and thoughts. Yeah. So even if we make the new belief system, it's necessary to cancel the old belief system and put the new belief system there, right? But mostly what we do is we say, I won't do this again, and that's it. But we have to follow the steps A to E, and then inshallah, you'll come to a new level of spirituality, and that will guide you right through, yeah?
Yeah. Sometimes I think we change the belief, we cancel the old one, or maybe we not completely what I should say, reasons, like good reasons to ourselves. We just do it for sake of, okay, this is wrong. But inside of us, there is some kind of like still doubt left. And then that doubt can come back and say, oh, no, yeah,
You
I'm
will,
going
yeah.
to do my old thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of think, okay, because I did it last time, I succeeded, I better do it again. You know? Yes, you're
And
right.
definitely when we are going to do something good and change ourselves, the shaitan will be there. He will,
Yes.
make doubts in our heart that,
Yeah.
he doesn't want us to be purified.
Absolutely. So we've got somebody watching over and ensuring that we don't go pure. It's his mission to do that, to prove to Allah that we are not going to be pure again. Right, so this finishes all the steps. You fully apply D to E and keep doing that on all the impurities. And there are lots and lots of impurities in each one of us. And there's a long way to go. Inshallah, through this process, you will do that. Our first assignment is on justification. A lot of you have started that. Please proceed with that. If there are any questions, please ask. We should have the first survey out now. Sister Shazia, can we have the first survey showing? This completes our Overcoming Self-Limiting Beliefs workshop. 5 talks in it. Please make sure you listen to them and also start the assignments and practice it. Practice the area well. And remember that making yourself pure or impure is your choice. No other person can purify you. Some people think they'll go to a Maulvi Sahib and they'll get purified. No one can purify you. You have to work on yourself. Your journey is yours to take. There are challenges and opportunities, and the challenges in themselves are opportunities. When something bad happens in your life, use it. Use it to purify yourself. Because everything is, a way of improving. It's a blessing. Every single thing that happens in our life is a blessing. Allah Ta'ala gives us the opportunity to grow. So we said become accountable for yourself. That's how we do the A to E steps and purify yourself. And be accountable for others, we said. We covered that in this step. You check, investigate, inform, report, follow up, follow these steps. And be accountable for the planet, because these are the things we'll be asked for, on Judgment Day. So inshallah, be through our process, we will learn to be better and more purer people. So please do the survey form and do informed when you've done it? You know, how many people have done it? How many people have done the form? You've got,
No one yet.
okay, so I'm going to stop the recording and give you time to do the survey form, right?